actually a very pretty state. There's a lot of things to do in Arkansas. So pretty. I wanted to go to the Butterfly House in Fayetteville. Whenever I go out on medical trips, I always stop and make it a something else to do trip. However, the app in my cracked my phone. I cracked my newest phone. Oh my gosh. Anywho's, so I couldn't get the Google app to work to navigate me through the city. And I'm like, yeah, no, I am not in the mood to get lost in this heat today. So yeah, I'm heading back. Unfortunately, I'm so bummed about that. But that's okay because I have the lake, right? I'll just stop and do something at the lake. There are so many things to do at Lake Eufaula. They have Lake Eufaula State Park. They have so many places around the lake. Anywho's, so I think I'm back in Oklahoma. Yeah, anyways. But the Karen Read trial, the jury's gone home for the day. Yeah, the jury's gone home. I have my comments off because, well, I've been driving and I can't see. Anyways, I don't have a moderator or anything. So, oh my goodness. I'm fasting and I ask other believers to please fast. I've been fasting ever since they went into deliberations, and I know you're not supposed to tell people like when you're praying and fasting, but I'm asking other believers, to join that. And yeah, so I went to see the spine surgeon today, and anyways, I'll go into that later. Anywho's, yeah, so it's a hot day. It's what was 100 degrees a few miles back. Oh my goodness. Now it's 97, but it's really humid here in the Midwest. So, anyways, yeah, the Karen Read, there was some things in the closing argument that really was like, I knew he was going to do that. Closing, I was like, Jackson, object. So one thing that Lally did that was so deceptive, okay, do you remember that Lally, in his opening argument, which was different than his closing, y'all go check it out, he said that at 12:45 is when she was there, and that basically the trooper Paul said he's the one that did all the EDR car data, and he concluded scientifically, matter-of-factly, that at 12:45 is when the collision happened. Which is a problem for them because, well, the Fit app said that he was walking at 12:32, and although they did try to debate a part of the Fit app activity about the 12:21 to 12:24 section, but Trooper Guarini admitted that he was walking at 12:32, and he also called all of the state's witness liars without calling them liars. He said it's not possible for Jen McCain, the Alberts, or anybody who was at that party that night to see her there at 12:45. He said, no, it is not possible because she auto-connected at Wi-Fi at John O'Keefe's house at 12:36 exactly. So what does Lally do? In the closing arguments, when something's not presented at trial, you cannot bring it up in closing. Jackson didn't catch it, unfortunately. He said that she stayed connected to his Wi-Fi the whole night. Did you catch that? How can she stay connected to his Wi-Fi when she's going here, here, here? I mean, did y'all catch that? He said that because he knows that she's innocent. I know he knows. He knows the evidence is so contradictory. You have Stephen Serif on day one who said that the amount of snow on top of him was a light dusting. And then Carrie said that there was 4 inches on top of him. So the light dusting is consistent with Lucky, the plow driver, who, by the way, the FBI checked his GPS to make sure that, he was really there at that time, and he was. That's why, they know that he's gonna call Lucky. So why wouldn't they have gone, and checked with his supervisor and just, they just insinuated, just try to discredit him that way. And he was a solid witness, Mr. Lucky. Yeah, he was solid. I mean, he was a solid witness. And then Trooper Guarini, he wants to use the Celebrite data, which is so interesting because they attacked Celebrite when it came to Jim McCabe. This Celebrite is, we don't, Celebrite doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay. So, but then when it was beneficial for them to say Celebrite knows what they're talking about, then they started using Celebrite to say that at 12:22 and 10 seconds is when that walking period began during 12:21 and 12:24. And then he said his phone did not move after 12:25. And that's interesting because there's a 20-minute difference between 12:25 and 12:45. So let's think about this, folks. And pray the Lord Jesus that the jurors think about it. If at 12:25 his phone no more move, his app is on, Fit app is on, he no more move. His phone no more move at 12:25, no more move, right? Okay, then, yeah, how'd he get out of the car? Because she was there till 12:25, remember? Because the collision happened at 12:45. So, what, did he float out of the car at 12:25? See, it just doesn't add up. At 12:25, they're saying that his phone did not move from that spot. There was no movement. And I'm like, well, the Fit app says he moved at 12:32. And Guarini admitted that. So you have their own state witnesses contradicting each other all over the place. I just went on some key points. I transcribed a lot of it. I had a lot of things going on during time. But I went back and looked at stuff, and I did videos on key points, and that car light was clearly intact. And I thought that Jackson did a pretty good job on some points, but I felt like he really missed some things. Like, Lally, first thing he's going to do is go after them voicemails. And then he's going to go after, the whole Fit app. And then, I just really thought he should have highlighted the fact that Trooper Guarini pointed out, he should just, trust the jury. By the way, side here. Yesterday, I did watch the jury instructions argument hearing, and she before she even listened to anything that the defense had to say, she was like point blank, I'm not going to give you no bone instructions. And then it sounded like she did end up giving them instructions. I don't know, but praise God, So at any rate, I just think he should have pointed out the inconsistencies of the witnesses. Jen said at 12:45 they were there, and the Trooper Proctor, if he had pinpointed Lally opening argument 12:45, Jen McCabe, all of them 12:45, and Trooper Proctor and Trooper Paul said the collision happened at 12:45, and then Trooper Guarini, who was over other evidence, gave her an alibi basically because he admitted no. None of that is accurate. So when you have their own state witnesses contradicting each other, that is a reliability issue. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. Anyways, because imagine if here we are, the ones that watch the trial, we're glued, we're taking notes, and we have all the stuff that we've read in the media and researched ourselves, and they have nothing. This is the first time they're hearing it. And they live there, and they're having to think that they've got a bunch of people that is like crooked and all these. There's a lot of people conspiring together. That is hard to wrap a brain around if you're a conservative person and you're very supportive of the police. That is psychologically injurious to have to accept that many people would lie, and it wasn't just the local cops, their friends, it was the state police. And then they had no idea who this FBI expert was, and based on somebody who was there and had given some feedback to the news later on the reactions of the jury, was like, they were like, what the heck? So then they had to according to the judge, dismissed one of the jurors for personal reasons. And of course the jury, the attorneys were probably arguing over, the ones that I guess they're saying the ones that had the most reactions of disgust towards Trooper Proctor. But you know what? That's okay. They did their little poll, they did their little raffle, and they said, here's the ones. And we all knew that nobody knew who the actual final jury was going to be, but it's in God's hands. And I feel like this. This is how I feel. I got goosebumps saying this right now. I truly feel like God sent angels to Karen. It's not just Karen. Like that Dr. Russell comes up out of nowhere who just happens to have the expertise of dog bite. There's very few doctors like that. She's had specific history with police dog bites, right? And I'm just like so thankful for her, you know, and then coming out with finding this guy named Lucky. Wow, that was a blessing, right? And so I just really feel like, and then the FBI, you know, letting them use on the government's dollar, never has that been done. You find a case that's been done before, right? I've never heard of it. So they've got these FBI experts in there, and I just feel like that was just divine intervention. So I'm like, believers, pray and fast. I'm fasting. That delivery comes back, like I'll liquid fast. I don't care. That's what we have to do to fight deception. That's what we have to do to stand up against oppression. You pray it through, you fast it through, and this is our whole country, and the whole world is watching as well. This is our system. We have to trust this system. We have to live under this, no matter what state you're in. This is the kind of thing that, oh my gosh, please allow me to tell you about the case that the media has withheld from the public. Oh my goodness, may I just get a little dramatic here? Because I was like livid when I read this case. I was against Massachusetts state troopers of all people. Now at first it looks like it's not connected, right? Oh well, that's just a CDL licensing issue that wouldn't affect these troopers in this case. They don't work for that unit. Wrong. Can I say it again? Wrong. Oh my goodness, go and look at that case. I have the link. I pulled the record of the actual Department of Justice government website court record. It does not just involve the CDL unit. It involves many troopers and many police across the state of Massachusetts who have given bribes, who have received benefits from these state troopers. Hey, you should see the text messages. You want to talk about getting favoritism and lying in police reports so they can have what they need when they need it? Oh my goodness, y'all need to read that case, because those text messages, this vicious trooper of the state of Massachusetts was like, yeah, if I don't like so-and-so, then I'm gonna flunk him. Yeah, I'll teach him to be a blank, blank, blank. I mean, these text messages were like, hey, take care of my trooper friend, give him the golden treatment. They call it the golden treatment. And then they're laughing because they're issuing CDL licenses to troopers, firefighters, to police across the state, and the feds redacted names. Now, the media says, now there was 2 unnamed people. Bull, honky donkey. There was many unredacted names. There was so many people that are people on the receiving end that were caught in those text messages. Police, and there is definitely one person from Canton who was caught in that scandal, because it was a tow truck driver. He half owns the tow truck company. Name starts with P. Y'all figure it out. There are people in Canton, Massachusetts, involved in that scandal. So how many police officers who testified in Kara Reed's trial, how many troopers testified in Kara Reed's trial are on that scandal? Well, we won't know, because the feds redacted the names of the police and the troopers that were on the receiving end of that, and they didn't get charged. I don't know, maybe because they're working, maybe they worked out a deal, I don't know. But that's just wrong. When you have somebody's life, they could go to prison for life, on the line, they have every right. That's exculpatory, right? You have police officers being allowed to testify in a murder trial who could be a part of that falsifying records, extortion, bribery, conspiracy. We're talking, these are types of crimes that they cannot be allowed to testify in a murder trial while they're being charged, or if they're even a person who was on the receiving end of that scandal. It's just horrible that anyway, so I think that people need to become very aware of that case. It's on the federal government Department of Justice. I put the link in my video. Go to my home tab, Newsy playlist, My homepage on my channel has a bunch of playlists that organize all my videos because I'm like the Walmart channel. I have a little bit of everything, right? And so the Newsy playlist, I put the link. I believe I posted that last night. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of trying to be hands-free. I gotta watch my traffic at the same time. So yeah, that link. You guys gotta read these text messages in this case. I was so livid. I'm so mad at the media right now. How dare they? How dare they? Well, they've had this trial going on for 8 weeks, and they're all speculating on whether or not it's possible with some could be bad. Oh my goodness! Wow, would they really lie to reports? Would they really do something conspiratorial? Would they really get special favors? Do they really work that way? And then you got this federal case, 71 count indictment against troopers, former and current state troopers, with so many names of cops and sadly firefighters. I love firefighters, man. Firefighters rock, because I'm sorry, I'm a military person, right? You know, when we hide behind bunkers when we're fighting somebody, I'm just telling you how it is, right? I'm not trying to be graphic, but firefighters run to the fire, y'all. They run to the fire. I just think it takes a special person to be a firefighter. So sadly, even the firefighters were getting special treatment, you know. And then sadly, they were bombing the firefighters in their text messages, talking about they can't drive. Oh my goodness. And then one guy actually had half a conscience, and he was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't give them the golden treatment, maybe help them out, but not really give them the golden treatment. And the other guy was like, nah, it's okay, they can't drive, it's all right. You know, you're putting people nationwide at risk for issuing CDLs. They're taking bribes and money, gifts. That's why in this particular trial, they keep bringing up that whole gift thing. Somebody promised them gifts. The troopers are very accustomed to gifts. Like, what is this, Mexico? Is this a bribery system we got going on here? I'm so glad that at the very least they exposed, you know, God bless the feds, I guess, you know, but unfortunately, they're not letting us know which one of them cops are dirty that's in Karen Read's trial, which one of them troopers are dirty in Karen Read's trial. Did any of them have anything to do with that case? I don't know, but I just know that in my mind, she's innocent. But it's not so much her. I'm flabbergasted at the people sitting in that area where the family, the true victims are. And I don't support anybody bad talking the family. You know, listen, people get convicted of murder and they're innocent all across America. It's, you know, and thank God we have a system where we can continue to fight for years and years. But people have been exonerated. You know, those family members of those murder victims, of where those people were exonerated, they believed because they trusted the state. So how are the Keefs bad? Because they believed what the state presented to them. And it was, you gotta admit, it was overwhelming for somebody who lost a loved one and you're caught up in your grief. And these are people you've known for a long time. You trust in the devil, basically. And it's sad. It's sad for them. And I'm just like, don't badmouth them, because they'll figure it out. We just pray for them that they'll figure it out, you know. But I think that I wish here's my fantasy for this whole scenario, like for some millionaire, some rich celebrity or millionaire or somebody to go buy that house that we all know he died, he was assaulted in, and then dig up that pool, and then get the feds in there and test all the concrete that they said they tore up the basement, and you'll find his blood there, get the dogs there. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody go buy that house, offer them a lot of money, buy that house, you know, and dig that stuff up. It ain't over. We'll pray the truth right on out into the light. But right now, I'm just gonna pray that, you know, it's unanimous, no hung jury. And that was weird too. How come she didn't even tell them that if they can't come to a conclusion, that that's an option? Like, she's ordering them that they're going to have to come, they're going to be trapped in jury duty for what? Forever? I mean, she didn't even say anything about hung juries. Like, that's not even right. Anyways, I just pray that God will move on their hearts. And I pray also for the feds to be listening in on the people, and that we don't know, maybe they are. I pray that somebody will slip up and tell somebody something, and then it'll come forward and catch it. If anybody out there is watching, you know. I pray that there will be a big reward put up. All you people collecting money off this case, why don't you put a reward up for information? Somebody to come forward and confess, leading to the conviction of the real killer of John O'Keefe. You know what I'm saying? Something, some way, somehow, God is going to bring forth the evidence that's needed to convict, because a lot of things was, destroyed. But anyways, let's pray for the O'Keefes that God will move on their heart to see the truth. That they will see that fit app, those marks on his arms, those are dog tag marks. Come on in. It's hard though, because John's friends, those were people that they knew for a long, long time. It's just sad that that cop. Here's where I really feel like Jackson. I know that they're paid a flat fee. Probably somebody suggested that they were each paid $250,000 or something like that. So come to the end of the end trial, they just shortcutted Karen. I feel like, no, this is a big conspiracy. That's very risky to just cut people out of your witness list because you feel like you won. Literally, Yannetti said that they're not going to call the cop who saw Higgins with the supervisor at her car, even though he said that would have been very strong evidence. And then there was those people who was attacked by that dog. They should have been allowed to testify, but they had so many witnesses that they could have called that they didn't. And I really feel like at the very least, they should have called that cop. There was a cop. Of all the people that would have been so important to her defense, to actually have a cop come forward and say another cop's lying to y'all. That's what they had. Did you know that? They had a cop who was willing to testify against Higgins, and he didn't present him. And I'm just like, I think it's unethical because you feel confident that you won the case. Never risk somebody's life like that and gambling them to a jury. Oh, we won already. We're not going to present any more witnesses. So I'm sorry, but you have a lot of cops who testified, and they have to accept that this was lies by a lot of cops. So to have a cop out of that same police department that's all ganging up on her to testify against Higgins, and basically all of them. There was a cop that said he saw Higgins at Karen Reed's car in the Sally Port, and it was during that time 42 minutes were missing, and they chose not to call that cop. I felt like she was robbed. Like that should have just, they just felt like they were too confident to put that cop on the stand, and I'm just like, oh man. Anyways, but hopefully, despite it all, the truth will win and deception will lose. So I'm going to get off here. I'm driving, and so I'm going to stop somewhere. And I didn't get to see the butterfly house because my navigator app is not working. And I had to go on a medical trip out of state today. And unfortunately, I didn't get to go do the butterfly house. Fayetteville, Arkansas is beautiful. If you ever go there, or been there, or live there, butterfly house garden or whatever. It's like a botanical garden. It's really pretty. I showed the one in Muskogee, Oklahoma recently, but it's just like, it's nice, but the one in Fayetteville is really nice. So I'm going to get off here, and if anybody has been listening, thank you. But remember, there's power in prayer. Prayer can move mountains, guys. And please pray. Pray for God to move on the hearts of the jurors and the hearts of the O'Keefe family and the hearts of the FBI. And on those who know the truth to come forward and for the truth to be revealed. I think that somebody was talking because Stephen Scanlon, the private investigator who's friends with the Alberts and the Higgins and a whole bunch of other people, he's the one that started the third-party culprit, Stephen Scanlon. He's a private investigator. He called Yannetti, and he, according to Yannetti, was speaking matter-of-factly. He knew things that nobody can know unless they heard something. So somebody was talking. If a private investigator knew stuff, but he wouldn't sign an affidavit because he was like, excuse me, my allergies. My eyes are dry too. So Stephen Scanlon knew. He knew things, but he's like, no, I'm just speculating. I don't think there's somebody can come forward. And I think that they need to come forward with a reward or something, to put up a reward for information about a true killer, bring evidence, something, And anyways, pray that God will make a way for the true what happened that night to be revealed. There is no way that man had that head injury hit by a 7,000. Speaking of which, did y'all know about that chief? The deputy chief of Canton Police went over to another town and ran over an old man that was using a cane in a pedestrian crosswalk at night, wearing a colorful vest. I was the first one to cover that. I don't care what anybody says. You can look at my video and then look at anybody else's video. I'm just saying that because that was very important to this case. Because that chief of police, do you know the injuries of that man that she ran over? And she wasn't going as fast as they claim that Karen Reed was driving. Okay, because she was turning a corner, so she wasn't going very fast at all. She caused so many injuries on that old man, and that was like, oh my gosh, the irony of the very deputy chief of Canton Police running over an old man using a cane, okay, and the amount of injuries. Now he was hit, and he had multiple fractures, and serious bone fractures all up through his body. So here they're going to say that she's going twice that speed and runs this guy over, and he only has a head injury, no neck injury, and none of... It's just so like, oh Lord Jesus, please help the jury to see that those FBI experts that was in there, that they had no idea who they were. Like, they were like, who are these people? That they were PhD, and they weren't hired by the defense, they weren't hired by the state, and they're saying it's just, no matter what Lally came at them with, it was still a consistent statement that nope. So I did a compilation of all the inconsistencies, and time-stamped it, starting with Stephen Serif, date 1. He said that there was a light dusting of that amount of snow that was on top of John O'Keefe, and the amount of snow that was on the ground was 6 inches. So that's important because the fact that he only had a light dusting, and if you remember what time it started snowing, okay, so it started snowing at the time that she was leaving. Well, he missed that snow. So then the fact that there was 6 inches on the ground and only a light dusting on him tells you that he wasn't out there for the amount of time they said. And that was consistent with Lucky when he drove by, which the FBI verified, his GPS, that he did drive by at that time and his body wasn't out there, right? So then you have Carrie, who says that there was 4 inches of snow on top of him. So you have a cop contradicting Carrie, okay? And so then you have a trooper contradicting all of them. That would be Trooper Guarini, who said, no, there's no possible for her to be there at 12:45. Contradicted the DA even, and yet he changed his story from the opening to the closing. And so, oh my goodness, I just hope that they took good notes and remember all the inconsistencies. And this was sharp, and it's in God's hands. That's the bottom line. And so, prayer warriors, please keep it in prayer. Prayer and fasting to stand up against oppressive forces, taking down strongholds and high places, y'all. And I'm getting close to my exit, so I'm going to get off here. I hope you all have a blessed day. How do I end this?